I think the problem we face as individuals is the fact that we lie to ourselves.
True.
So somebody comes to me and say, attacks have been arrested. I won't give you money. The reason why another person is going to help you is because of your.
Hi guys, my name is Adele Greatman, and in this segment we'll be discussing being broke, like broke shaggy, whatever you call it. With me here is my friend Atat Charles. Atat, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So Atat, tell us about yourself.
My name is Atat Charles. I'm a media practitioner. I run a non-profit and I also run a company, Adela Africa. We help connect tech talents from Africa to job opportunities in US and in Europe specifically. So, 3 jobs. I've done 9 to 5. I've done freelance. I've done remote. Well, what have I not done?
Then what do you do for this money? Anyway, backstory to this is that Atat is a friend of mine that I know that has done everything. Like walking on the streets, running the business. I don't know about that part. We'll be cutting that of this segment. Thoughts, run a school, travel agency, journalism. I just know that when there's a task, I just remember that is the guy for it. So that this segment is about being broke. It's about being broke, and it's something that I'm passionate about your for sure. So see, the kilo.
We're laughing, and that is how you laugh when you are broke. Because sometimes you ask yourself, why am I broke? I have the skill, I have the network. Why am I broke? Yes. So we're going to take 3 stages before you are broke. You know, there's a time in your life when you are not broke, but you know that if you remove something from the account, you will be broke. That when you are not really broke,
That's it.
when you have, as in, you're not like if they turn you upside down, there's nothing inside your account. If they won't carry you to go and collect loan, say you don't have loan family. Wait, have you applied for loan before and be rejected?
Let's not talk about
That's the level of broke. Like you check all the apps, will tell you are not eligible for the application.
Hey, look, I think thank you for reminding me about this. I remember when I used the loan to buy one of my first Androids. I bought that phone and I had to finish paying for the phone. They gave me like a 3-month plan. And I think within that 3 months plan, I wait my first house to charge my phone. And I think I was on the chair. I can't remember the seconds. I was on the chair on the bed to see it. And then something just told me to just look at the charger. And I looked at the charger and there was no phone. That was how the phone I bought with money not completed. I didn't see that phone again. And you paid it complete. I still had to go back to my old phone. And I still paid it at Evo. Yeah, I don't know part of the stories. You understand?
So that, but in your case now, you are not still broke, you're semi-broke. Because you have a phone. We're talking about us that we don't even have a backup plan. Like as for loss, you will now owe the loan company, interest will not increase. Then we're not going to talk about the final stage of being broke, where you are broke, like you are in ground zero, like this now is between you and killing yourself, those kind of extreme cases. I've gotten to that point as well. So I think these 3 stages are important. Key of the conversation is, when do you know you are broke? I think the problem we face as individuals is the fact that we lie to ourselves.
True.
Everybody knows where they are financially. If somebody is to stop you on the road and say, where are you? Are you rich? Are you poor? Or are you broke? You know without a good answering. So the first thing is identify whether you are broke. If you know you are broke, don't lie to yourself. The next thing is shaming the shame. A lot of times when we are broke, we don't want people around us to know that we are broke, maybe because they will laugh at us. So now this that will tell you whether they will laugh at you or they will not laugh at you. If you broke, it will show. I see, it's going to show. So what's the worst that can happen to you? They will say you don't have money. Okay, you don't have money. Did you die? So when you know you're broke, ask yourself, that's the next question. Why am I broke? So sometimes we are broke because of our lifestyle. Maybe we are living above our lifestyle. You're earning, let's say, $100 or 100,000 naira, and then you're spending 150,000. That could be a reason. So you need to look at where you can budget. Another reason why you're broke is perhaps when you're working, you're not earning enough. And this is where most of us find ourselves in, where you are working in a place and you're scared if you leave the job, there's no tomorrow. But the question you ask yourself is, that current job you are doing,
The cost of doing that job.
what's the cost of doing that job? So you are working in a place that they're paying you 80,000. but at the end of the month you're spending 120,000. This is where the third step is. Remember, your first step is not identifying that you're broke. The second step is, I don't listen. The second step is seeing where the broken is coming from, and the third step is now checking your expenses. I think the third step is the most important step in everybody. You need to sit down and ask yourself, where is my money going to? Is the money? Yes. Is it going to food? Is it going to enjoyment? Is it going to house rent or something? By the time you check, you might not have been keeping record, but when you look at where your money is going for, you'll be able to track exactly where the expenses are and then make life decision. Remember that I started by saying shame the shame. So if you check expense and it's your rent that is taking the expense, it means that you have to change where you are staying.
I mean, I'm bringing it back to like, shame, which is like a major challenge, especially for youths, right? Someone knows he's broke, or let's say even Obi, like you're going to use Obi for the thing. Let's say Obi knows he's broke. What are the causes? And what would stop Obi from coming out to say, Omo, I broke, oh, and reaching out to his network to get, Omo, is there anything? Like, let's talk about that. So that's why I said there is a challenge that most people are.
So that's why I said pride and the fear of the unknown. Sometimes, and there are some people that naturally they don't like asking out. And so this is where I would reach out to people who are friends to people to be very sensitive. We all know in our friends list, we have the people that are very, they can chest anything. Even if they are there, they can chest. We have those people who will always ask you if they're there. Oh, so you must be sensitive to your friend. Sometimes life takes us in a lot of places and we are not listening. Or we are listening, but we are ignoring what we are hearing. We are trying to, give the person benefit of that. So listen. But another thing is the fear of the unknown. Sometimes people feel like if I speak out, they will laugh at me or I will not be regarded. I mean, look at the society. If you don't have money, literally it's like you're not non-existent. So that could be some of the fear. But that's why I say shame the shame, because if you don't speak out, it will get to a point where even if you speak out,
It's worse.
yeah, so they will mock you.
Okay. Let's talk about, you've identified you're broke, and you've identified why you're broke, and you've tried to mitigate your expenses, right? What next after that? Because I know that most people know, okay, I'm broke because of this. This is my life. And even if I remove a few things, I'm still broke. What's the next step for them?
And I agree. And sometimes you check your expenses. The reason why you are broke is a necessity. Exactly. So you are broke because of health concerns. Of course, you cannot stop taking your medications. You are broke because of transportation. And you can't trek to work. This is a game where you now call for help. And so you need to find out your network. If you don't have a network, there's always somebody around you, a place around you that you can. And if it's the job that is making you broke, leave the job.
Yeah, even if we talk about living job, what of because I'm looking to tilt towards finances, increasing income, that kind of conversation.
Even a batch of belly full, you want to increase income.
Yeah, because a lot of people are in that situation. Now I say, okay, someone just came into the city, right? Got a job, and let's say 30K. But we know that 30K back then and 30K now, it's not the same. Okay, we're advising the person, leave this job, right? And after I leave this job, and now you've monitored, okay, I've left the job. What am I going to do now? Even this job is costing me, well, this job is where I get
So
my daily.
so that is why I said the third step, which is a very crucial step, is identify your expenses. When you identify your expenses, you'll be able to use that track record to make life-changing decisions. So if you looked at your expense and perhaps you were spending 120,000 on transport or on the cost of going to complete your job, and your job is paying you 80,000, the question is the extra 30, 40,000, where is it coming from? If you realize that there is another source of income that is making you more money than your current job, that is logical for you to leave your job and put more energy on that your side hustle. Let your side hustle become your main hustle. Because at the end of the day, your side hustle is even footing your main job. It is a different thing when you look at it and you see that you don't have any sort of income. It is that job. Then you can always make a decision. In that office, you're not the only one that is broke. That's why I say shame the shame. There's somebody in your office that cannot pay house rent, and I've done it before. I've been in a situation where I look at my income and I'm like, guy, rent now they've increased it to 500 and something K. What I was paying was 250. It has gone up. How far? You hear things like, oh, me, I'm coming from big place. It's too far. Oh. And then you say, okay, let us cohabit for the next 1 or 2 years. You're not staying for long. You now both of you are in similar position.
Okay.
Both of you live in a place. You have 1 year plus to save money, to make decisions, and maybe to look for other options to make this money to move up.
It's finding someone that has the sense.
There's always somebody that's you have to learn to let go of certain things.
Okay.
The person you're staying with might not be perfect, but you know that you're doing this for 1 year or 2 years. You guys
was being broke.
exactly. It's either and ask yourself, if you don't do this, they'll throw you out of the house.
True.
And if you go to their place to ask for double money, they will not give you. Office is always broke. No. Office, they always don't have money.
Broke.
But let their facility in the office spoil.
Exactly.
The money that they say they don't have, you just be.
That's another segment.
But I think that the key area I want people to look out for is there's never an excuse. There's always a way out. There's always a way out, And a lot of times to speak out. Speaking out is very difficult. I'm somebody that don't speak out for any reason, And if you're somebody like that, it's important that you know when you're close to the wall. I remember one time I was working in a TV station. And I was always showing on TV, and people were like, oh, this guy has everything, no, blah, 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 blah. In fact, I was going to speak in universities and schools. And one of those days, they had invited me to speak at an event on how people can push despite whatever challenges they're facing. And the day to that day, I was about to commit suicide. Literally not about to, because I'm gone at my veranda to jump my corridor.
Yeah.
You know the rain. Yes, I wanted to jump down. And luckily, my bro saw me and said, brother, what are you doing? The only reason I didn't take that jump was because of my brother. That was the only reason. And I'm so busy. He doesn't know this. So
Right.
if this is life, he will know. And that was one of the only reasons why that never happened, why I never took my life. Because
So what brought you to that point? Like,
broke now. Being broke. I'm telling you that, see, there's a level of broke that make you just die, they go. Yes, there's how broke you are down, like you are down. The current job you are, they are not giving you an overdraft. You are stuck in the job because you feel like if you leave the job,
there's no
there's no
nothing coming from anywhere.
There's nothing coming from anywhere. You go to families to beg for money. Some of them, family member, you people know yourself, they have the money. Because there's a particular family member I don't want to call in this video. She sent her pikin to UK, but she said she didn't have money. But it's okay. They have the money.
Okay.
No, I will.
Let's not move away.
No, that is it now. I'm calling everybody.
Yeah.
I'm letting people understand that we've been there. There are times you go to family and they can't help.
There is nobody, and most times
there's nobody to give you loan. Office can't help you out. And because I'm the first son, so again, being a first son,
that's also another conversation we should have. First sons, first siblings. It's a big conversation. I think we should talk about that next.
So
I think we should talk about that next.
First son, I wouldn't agree with that. Yeah, so being a first son, you're supposed to carry everything on your shoulder.
You're supposed to be mad. Be the person for others while you're still going through your own challenge.
Thank you. And then as an African guy, as an African, men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
We cry, oh.
As men don't cry in public, but
about that, I'd like to get on a bit a bit.
Okay. Let's talk about, you almost committed suicide. But here you are. So you didn't commit suicide. What helped you?
I said what helped
come out of that stage. I want you've said it in more practical times. I want you to talk about it like your own story. I moved out from the veranda. I sat down on my couch. I sat on the bed. I made a call. Like, what? I want to understand what's the moment that's so that took you out, and you say, okay, I'm gradually coming out of this.
I won't say that. So first,
talk.
No, I can talk about it. I'm just saying, I'm trying to understand the process of how I came out. It was not something instant because, like I said, because I saw my younger brother and he asked me what I was about to do, I didn't want him to witness what would have happened because, yes. And so when I came out, he didn't sleep.
So I won't go. Me, I don't go.
Like he was awake, you know.
Because just know that something,
Yes,
something was about to go down.
he was awake, and we're all awake. And after that, I went to give that speech,
Mm.
and I didn't talk about it. And the only question I asked myself is, so when I pass on, what would have happened to him?
Yeah.
What would have happened to the rent of the current place? How would he have survived? So I think I realized that a lot of times I wasn't living for myself, I was living for my siblings. And so it was important for me to live for them. For their sort,
I think it's so blue that I give.
yes, that's is it a gift? It's a cause for it.
And I think it's a pleasure that you give. Depends on the perspective.
So for me, again, I would say the issues of being a firstborn and being somebody that chased a lot of things, that was the problem. I always say it, if I wasn't living my life for another person, I would have had the best life.
I mean, you can look at it from there. Also, you can look at it, allow me to learn. You can look at it from the aspect of if you were not in the position you were, you might not have that much drive. Think about your younger brother. If he was the first, if he was the first, do you think he would be how he is? You get where I'm coming from? So let me be selfish. What I mean is sometimes we think that, our realities are going to remain our realities if we were in another position. But the truth is, what shaped our realities were the happenings, the things that happen in our lives actually shaped.
I agree with you. One I'm saying. So I'm speaking on the point of not being selfish.
Okay.
So when I went into being broke, I lost my parents, and so I needed to do a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
The moment I lost my parents, the finances I had was good enough to take me back to abroad that I was. So I forgo going back abroad. I forgo in fact, I stayed in Nigeria, my visa expired, and so the work that was paying me well to be able to live comfort, I lost everything just because I was like, if I left my siblings, what next would be for them? And again, that's because, sorry to say, I have a great family, but at that point, none of them took my siblings away from me. I wish they had someone had collected, because it's a burden to carry somebody. Like, there's a difference when you carry somebody from a distance. There's a difference when the person is staying with you, you are feeding the person, you are emotionally responsible for the person, and then you are morally responsible for there's a lot of responsibilities.
I think my question for you now is, for upcoming firstborns, for what do you think firstborns should do different?
Learn to live for yourself.
Learn to live for yourself.
Learn to live for yourself.
So, what does learn to live for yourself entail? Does it entail,
let those ones pause. Don't pause your life, anybody.
okay,
There's this thing they say, scriptural, they say, let my cup run it over.
yeah,
Your cup can run over if you don't fill it with something.
I agree.
And so that was the mistake I felt I did. Had it been I knew what I knew now, I perhaps would have. And I was in school. I was my final year in school, Hindi abroad. I couldn't graduate because of that incident. So I should have gone back, used my last resources, finished off few steps, maintained my job, and bring them over.
Yeah.
But here is the thing. It's a difficult choice to make because in the moment, because like I said, nobody was willing to collect them. If I had somebody that took them out for even the first 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
I would have been able to say, okay, now money ready. So this is where parents, I need to give up to parents, because it's a parental choice. This is why people don't leave jobs, they don't relocate because of their kids. And at the end of the day, because you didn't make such tough choices, you will suffer it.
Sure.
And those children will suffer it, because the best life you would have given, the worst thing is they will hate you for life, because children will not understand the love you did give to them.
Another thing is firstborns are the third parents. And we are the third parents. Because most times, even when your parents are available, you hear sayings like, when you give us the first son and the second, when you give us the first child and the second child, from the third child down, the first and second child takes care of them. Yes, something like that. That's why I come out the saying that the firstborns are the third parents, right? And I think I was going through some situation with family siblings, and I was also chasing my own. We always my own bills, and I still couldn't come up to say, "Bro, you don't finish with my hand," you know. And I remember I was depressed then, and I think one of my friends said something to me. Say, "You know that if you pass away and move on, somehow they'll find a way of
Mhm.
solving that problem." And it made the whole difference for me. And I just sat down, and I mean, it's a journey for me because now I'm learning to actually prioritize my own growth. Like I'm learning to, like you said, fill my own cup. Right? It's I'm not saying I'm perfect at that because it's between families. Yeah, going to be selfish. But we're seeing you doing this. You're seeing you doing the but, bro.
This thing you're saying is, it's let's come back to the topic of being broke,
Yeah.
because we have that entered family. I think this topic will be
It's unencompassing, but I'm gonna try to like move the episode to another episode.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So still being on broke, a lot of people are broke for different reasons. Maybe family could be one of them. Your expense will explain to you. Maybe it's eating out or all of those things. Maybe it's house rent. The key is find out why you are being broke and what you can do. Um, the next step is, if you are down, there's extremely nothing that you can do. Then find people that you can trust and ask for money. And a lot of times we ask for money without clear experience. There's how you ask for money and people will give you. Don't beg for money.
Okay.
Ask them with a reason. For example, let's say you want a loan of 200,000, and that 200,000 is because you want to pay your rent, and then maybe use that one to maybe sell provisions or something, or do something.
Okay.
You go and meet somebody and say, please, see you. Was having 50,000 naira savings. I've worked for 3 months. This is what I have. Please, I need you to help me with 200,000. What do you want me to do for you? I will pay this 100,000 in these installments. Or do you know where you can recommend me? This is the possibility of me having this money. Like,
Yeah.
go with a plan.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't give people money because, we don't know how urgent it is for them.
Okay.
And
what they've actually done.
on what they've actually done, you get. And the problem is, we too that is going to beg, because I've been there. We too that is going to beg. We also, because of pride, we don't want to tell the person
Bro,
why we want the money.
I'm on the ground. Help me.
You understand? And then another thing, when people say they don't have, you too understand that they don't have the money for you.
That's another
Do
conversation.
you understand?
And that's very valid because sometimes you don't have to say no because you feel like this person thinks like this money the money there projects.
Uncle,
There are projects that you look at your accounts and you know that this money is not going enough for this project.
there are projects that the money is in your account, but it's not.
The money is in your account, but it's not there. You are just preparing your mind to send that money out.
Well, I think that your case is different, because when you say you are preparing your mind, in my scenario,
No, if you check my account, let me give you an instance. Like there's a project I'm working on. I have the money for that project. I see how people asking me for money. But I know that if I send out, I don't have the money for them in that case. But the person I'm handling is going to take all of this money. So now I'm even trying to like, negotiate with the vendor. Okay, can I pay in parts? Because I know that if I don't send it out, bro, Otilo, and nobody knows tomorrow. There's running cost. There's, now.
and I think what we things that is this family man.
It's a different conversation. So that's not even going to.
So I think that this is why I said a bit of maturity is in. You need to explain why you want the money, and think like the person you are going to ask the money here. But before you go to ask the person, kill your shame. Understand that the person doesn't owe you any reason to give you the money.
Okay.
Do you understand? But if you've done your homework, there's a 50% possibility of the person helping you out. And there are people who too are wicked, who would not give you the money,
Give you,
which is fine.
you not believe you.
Kill the pride. Just kill the pride. And this is after you go. If you explain, they will be able to say, I don't have this money. So let me give you a practical example. So I needed money for something, and I went to tell the person, oh, please, I need this amount of money. Person say, what is the money for? I say, oh, I need to go and carry this, that, and if I carry, I can pay off this money. Guy say, I don't have this money, but if I give you my car, can you go and pick those things up?
Okay.
I say, oh, fine. He said, no problem. I would give you the car. Fortunately, the guy showed up, gave me half of the money, drove it with his car. We went to pick up this stuff. And do you now understand? So a lot of times when you are explaining to the person in steps, the person is able to decide how he or she can help you. Sometimes they might not have, like for me, a lot of times when people come to me to ask for money, I have the money, but I don't have the money to give them.
Yeah.
Because the money I have is not my money. Like sometimes I look at my account and I'm so rich and I am so broke. That's like this broke, I'm passionate about it. Because it's like I'm talking to
I mean, I can understand it, I think there's point in my life I do understand it, but what's how you do now? I can understand, looking at your account and you're saying you're broke. But when you say your account, I'm like, bro, what are you saying, bro? Do you know what broke means? And I bring it to a story I shared it earlier about my friend in university. Back then, man, parents will send you 2K and you find a way to also that 2K to last you 2 weeks to like 3 weeks, right? And I remember one evening, I was sitting here and it's like, and he's well to do, like, when you're dementia, geez, yeah, I want the best study, and he was, this guy is in school. Maybe they have a study in their room, like they have a study with books. Now, rich people, bro, they are mates. They have the career focus. So it's like there's a certain amount of money that be in my account, and I'm broke. And I think I remember that at that point I didn't have cash. Like I forgot to, if either I even kept his house to eat. I can't even remember like the situation, but you didn't know that it was something that I was broke. I was broke that day because school had closed, but I was doing a project in school and most people had gone home. And parents know that you finished taking the exam, so they're not sending you anything. They're only expecting you to come back. So I still had to like decide the point. So I know that he said that there's a certain amount of money. How much did I think he said 50K or 80K then, and I argued with this guy for almost 2 hours. Like arguing with him for almost 2 hours. But I think growing now, I can understand what it means, and having projects and having like this amount of money that hits. That's why you talk about knowing when you're about to go broke. Yes, but you know that it's also it also speaks to the quality of your life, the standard of your life. You know that if this money is your account, I'm going to finish it in less than 3 weeks, right? Maybe another person might manage it better, but you know that this is how. So I don't think, I don't think that thing manage it better. Nobody is managing anything better. Everybody is managing according to their taste and standard. No, when I say that, it's relative to you using that money, right? Like, let's say there are people that eat with $5, a day, or eat with $5 in a week. I don't know, but you know that if you give those people $20,000, right? I lost my track. Okay, so I know that if you give those people $20,000, they will manage it. They can manage you longer than you having $20,000, and Okay, so you have a lifestyle. This is the area I want people to focus on. Never compare yourself or never use other people's statistics as your statistics. Why I say that is, like, I always stand with nobody's managing better. I don't know. I don't want to say, you instead of being broke. Because another person can spend $5 and you can't spend $5, Yeah.
it's not a problem. It's always my problem. Okay. Do you understand? So I want us to think in a place of what I am comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, every amount of financial money that goes out of our accounts is based on our reality, our perception, and our standard of living. And there are things you can't change for. There are people who food is where their money is going to. There are other people where transportation is where their money goes to. They can trek from here to apart, but you see food. Do you understand? So stick to what, just identify your devil and stick to it. And then let's the last point, after you've been able to come out of being broke, people have given you money. Then you're close to being broke again. Like can happen. True. Let's talk to those people. Something happened to me recently, and not recently, years back. I was that side where I about to jump and I came out.
Yeah.
Let's start from there. That's where I was about to jump and I came out and I felt everything. I went back to say, okay, who can I borrow money from and all of those things? Because one of the issues I had that time was paying rent. And I went to go borrow money to pay rent. And I did everything I said on this podcast. Like I explained, this is what has happened. This is how many I was paying in Hellas for my sibling. they have asthma, which is expensive. Every week I'm changing like two or three inhalers there. And children, they will not be taking things that would bring it up. I went to loan. I started balancing a bit. And I lost my work.
The job was helping.
The job that was helping me,
Back then.
that I've used to calculate, I will use the money to pay back the loan. So I now forgot about the money. The other job I got now owed me 7 months. The first owed me 3 months salary. Then they owed me, in fact, 1 year after I took that loan.
It was I hadn't paid back.
It was like I still hadn't paid back. Not because I could not pay back,
But like
like was happening. So I took money from someone and I paid regs and I did pay back the person's loan after like 8 months. Even after 8 months, I made the biggest mistake that a lot of us make when we owe is we now stop answering calls. We go in community. Please, if you have done that before, don't do it because I've done it.
I know a lot of people
You start avoiding.
that came to me that they were broke. I know you're watching this. Pay me my money. You know that is to ignore the money.
At first, I was avoiding, and after some time, I shamed the shame.
Okay.
Because I realized there's a time that comes to you and you realize it's not like you don't want to pay this money. Day. And the money is not coming in bulk. Let's talk to ourselves. Let's be fair. As I saying everything, always have open communication.
That's another and I wish people can understand this. Like, I know you're owing me, but just open to me, bro. Alpha, I know that we had these dates. I'm not able to pay it. Okay, can you give me an extension? Like, even if you, I mean, I has to give me an extension because even if as I go, so yes, I do or do. If I carry you turn upside down, nothing will come. But that communication, I value it because it means you value the money I give you, right? I'm not Father Christmas. And I don't read. That communication is something that
will always keep the communication open, whether the person will be worse or not. And sometimes just speak your truth. I couldn't pay. I was at that point. I had even let that place to another place. I was now squatting. So it wasn't like I was thinking it. I was squatting with somebody. And at some point, I knew that I was going to be arrested. So the small money I had, I dropped the money. And then I started making visits to say, see you, this is what has happened. This is how I'm going to pay. Please give me an extension.
Yeah.
But it's like when I did that visits, that was when
they just carried you.
That was when I raised the bar. Because this is a very tough one. There's how you owe somebody and your life, you don't look like your problem. Let me speak to ourselves. You the old person, but you the fresh.
Why you old person the fresh?
I know it to look like my problem. You understand? I'm too cute to look.
Okay, so you came to tell your story, but you were not looking like
my problem.
No problem. So what do we do? What do we do to mitigate that?
Oh my God, look,
but
he's been laughing about it, but it's not funny.
No.
Like when you're telling somebody, I've not eaten,
but your chick is
well, drink, you never chop. Hey.
No, that's a true story.
See, we're laughing about this, but I know that a lot of people that will watch your book can relate when she no day. Like you did
somehow.
It's not that he no day. It's just that
somewhere you're looking like
you are looking like all put it together. The English is giving. We don't post. We are not crying on social media.
Yeah.
Because I have everybody wants to come. I can be there and on social media. Come on. I'm giving.
No, and I think that's another conversation about you're broke but you're not speaking out. Sometimes, I mean, I'm talking on behalf of introverts now.
How do you want to speak out that you're broke? No, sometimes you should stop living because
you just day. You know get to. But I think that's something that has also like helped my life. Most times, I'm someone that's outgoing, I'm always, if it's available, I would like to like hang out with friends and all of that. But sometimes, if it's not available, I will just close. In fact, when I've closed off, that's when you know that you know, they for this guy body.
So I think that this is not the personality difference.
Yeah, because now people, only my close friends can know that, okay, how far are you good? You know, then I can now share with you that, okay, they are just there, but no problem. No be say food no dey table, but I can't just put my the one wey dey my account. If I of my normal life, e go finish. If you leave, but now most people, because you're still posting on WhatsApp those like normal. Most people think that it's still there body, and you can't change that perception, but it's who you are. So I'm not asking you a question. Do you think for each of us now, should we like come out and act like how it is?
I will be the worst person to say that, because me, I cannot even act. When money day, you no go know. When money no day, me no they know when money day and when money no day.
Okay.
One person says everybody has the way they react. For someone like me, my life is always perfect. If you meet me in person, if you meet me on social media, I have the perfect life. And I say this because that's who I am. That's who people assume.
Perception.
That's their
Say you're a PR specialist now.
no, not even no. So I think that I have learned, because of how life has shown me a lot of negative things.
Yeah,
To always
your best.
yes, to always live in the present. So I can be dying, but I just feel like, what's the worst that can happen? I've been broke. I've drove taxi. I've hawked gari, as in cassava. I've sold always ultra. If you don't know what that is, menstrual cycle women. That's the date we can put inside. I've sold it. So I've done a lot. I've gone abroad. I've been here. I've been there. So I'm like,
You've experienced it.
I've experienced it all. So what else again?
One more.
One more. So I think that for people like us, there's a problem. We are used to just being happy.
Okay.
But here is the thing, because I've met my type of people. When we are too happy, that is when we are on the lowest low.
Oh, so okay.
After that time, I tried to commit suicide. When I see people post that, oh, this person was so happy, even went to the club yesterday, and today is dead.
There's something is called. I saw it on TikTok. I forgot what it's called. Like something adrenaline.
And I can relate, because people at that point,
If at the point of dying, yes, this surge of energy, yeah,
first,
like they're happy and
yeah, exactly, because imagine that I had my brother didn't see me in that incident, and I had jumped over the cliff. Obviously, be like, and this guy wanted to come and talk about, hey, you are such an innocent, all of those things. So what I also do is, when I see people too happy, I'm I just become
they try to like.
I become so sensitive and so protective. Like, if they are too quiet, then I'm like, what's going on? Because I know that the moment I am too happy, like, you are seeing me back to back, I'm always giving you happy, happy. I'm always smiling. You see that moment? That smile is a mask to just make myself. So I'm not actually making you happy. I try to treat myself being happy.
I remember, that, but I don't think that period was about broke, but that period was about depression, clinical depression. And, I'd come to the office and I'll make everybody laugh, go back, And I think they celebrated my birthday at the office, and a colleague of mine asked me, Grandma, how are you always happy? Like, what do you do when you get home? Don't you miss people? And I just said, when I go home, I actually just take a deep breath, because now about it takes energy to actually make a lot of people happy. And like, it's sort of opened the eyes to like an area of my personality that they never understood. I never came out to explain to them until I think it's hit me to the point I actually resigned my job and just decided to just chase happiness in quotes, right?
And you find your happiness when you're chasing it?
I think I went on a journey that helped me get a healthier mindset and manage the situations around me better.
Okay.
Right? So I'm not regretful of um resigning that job, but it was a good thing because it took me on a step that got me to where I am. I think I have a healthier mindset now. I think I manage like situations better. I think I'm able to even take myself out of situations to say I don't have the strength to handle this. Whenever I have the strength, I can actually bring myself to it, and I realize that people's problems are primarily not your problem.
Mm-mm.
Like you should focus on your problems. And I'm speaking to like first, but if you focus on your problems first, prioritize yourself first because at the end of the day, they find a way to solve their problems even without.
And this is the being a feminist, standing for women. Focus on yourself too, because last, you get belle, you no get belle. You're married, you did not marry. It's you that will
Your life, you are the person in that vehicle.
Good. Just to summarize, in terms of the topic we're talking about, which is we being broke. That's last scenario is you've been broke. You thought you come out of being broke like I did, and then you went back to being broke because life happened to you, and you are trying to solve that coming back. I got arrested, and I realized when they arrest you for OE, they'll give you time to pay. So for those of us that are fearing what will happen, I'm lucky that mine was just an arrest and I ended up, paying everything. For some people, they will go to prison. So to see where the communication is always okay. Peace. There's nothing you can escape. Person where they don't try to escape the person. Always open a communication. Let it be that the person is reaching out to you and you're always responding, but you cannot pay. It is better. You get if they and let it be that genuinely too is that you cannot pay, not that you are wicked. Because in my scenario,
Money.
yes, in my scenario, when I went to the police station and the IPO was like, oh, this is because even when I went to, they said, I receive it they wear. You know this, if you've been to Nigeria police station, you people in Nigeria police station, why? The guy saw me and I was, I was like, they told me here, they said I'm
Ever put the situation in that moment, do you think that if you wore your problems, like physically wear your problems, you think you would have had a different outcome?
I was wearing my problem.
No, I mean, they're telling you you're looking good and all of that. You wore like maybe a standard shirt
Or the problem is I didn't have the tattered short. That's what I'm saying. Like, I won't ask anybody to come down because of their financial problem. Because if you come down, there's a possibility that you cannot even go.
that's
So it better make you just stay where you day. Sure, people might not give you certain drug because of they follow that joke. Not how you look, because they feel that you are poor. They won't trust you.
that's another conversation.
They won't trust you. So if you look like your problem, there's a lot of times that people will feel like you want to cheat them. Imagine somebody that is owing 1 million coming to tell you that you should entrust him with 500,000. Hello? When you come carry this for 500K, go. Do you understand? So, and I knew it, but the thing is, when it was time to write statement, I explained that I got abducted this year.
Oh, okay.
This happened to me. I lost my job. This is the letter that showed that this company is owing me for this period. These are the, so by the time I was done explaining, they were like, madam, oh yeah, that when you go pay this money, just give us
Timeline.
when you go pay. And I explained. And I tried as much as possible to stick to making that payment. And I was done with it. So I'm saying this to people because yours might be worse. Some people might be owing banks, Lapo, microfinance, agents and all of those things. Some people might be owing very wicked people. Just realize that you'll be out of it. Just go back, look at your finances, look at your rent, look at where you can see borrow. You can't borrow, try hustling. Definitely at some point you'll pay out. Key summary of this conversation is we all need to look at our finances. We all need to look at our life choices and ask ourselves, why are we where we are at the moment? If I touch this money, will I be broke or not? If I help this family member, what will happen? If I give this friend, what will happen? And then this current job that I'm doing, should I leave this job and focus on my side hustle because my side hustle is paying more than? And I like to say that sometimes just leave the job. Something will come up. The reason why you're still in that job and you've not gotten a better job is because you're in one place.
Okay.
The energy you use in looking for other jobs, you are here doing, I will send email, I will do this, I will do that. Do you understand? And sometimes if you can't leave the job, stick to why you were employed.
I think you called JD.
Yes, so don't give too much, don't under deliver. Just be there. Like, and more importantly, shame the shame. If you're about to go broke, it's okay.
I think the last question for you, Atat. In terms of networking, there might be people that don't have network, or there might be people that have good network or don't know how to service that network. Is there something you want to say to those kind of people in terms of managing relationships and also understanding that sometimes life can happen? You don't want to, meet someone for the first time when you have a problem. Do you want to talk to, like, speak to managing relationships, especially with high net worth people? Because I know there was a time in my life that I was broke, but I know that I had people, because I've gone to like events, collected numbers, but I was still broke. And it was until I understood, you know, how to manage relationship better, build relationships, and, be better at what I do, that, life for me started increasing and I kept servicing some of those, relationships. I mean, let's talk about that.
And so I think that I will always say that don't lie to yourself. Another thing is the first problem we have is not accepting we have a problem. Okay. So if it's the issue of managing relationship and network, if that's your problem, I do that you have that problem. Go and learn how to now manage people. Because at the end of the day, I can't advise you how to manage contacts and relationship if you yourself have not taken it upon yourself to learn about it. Because relationship is about value. And I want us, there's something Mrs. G, a very close mentor to me and coach, she used to say, um, don't be a taker, always be a giver. Bring something to the table. I repeat it. Don't be a taker. Always be a giver. Bring something to the table. And that's a very profound understanding. Anytime you go to meet somebody, what value are you giving to that person? Do you understand? So let's say we have three people. I'm the person that never had money, but I always have network. That's me. So somebody comes to me and say, attacks have been arrested. I won't give you money. I will call somebody that will call somebody that will call maybe somebody
And
that
that's
will
give value.
that's value. Do you understand?
Mhm.
Another person can come to me and say, there's no food though. I don't want you to buy food. Okay. I know this person, I know this person. Send this person 1 liter of food. Do you understand? Later on, I would balance you. So you need to find out what value you're bringing to that person. Do you understand? And the reason why that person is going to help you is because of your value. And be respectful. When I lost my mom, there was a particular lady that gave me half bag of rice, half bag of gari. I'm saying like 15 kg of rice and gari. Guess why she gave me?
One.
Because I used to greet her. She said, you're very respectful. And when I heard you lost your mom, and I was just wondering how you are feeding with your siblings. And she brought half bag of rice, half bag of gari. That is what respect can do for you. So a lot of times, you don't know the value you're giving to somebody until when something happens to you. So you need to, from day one, establish a value. If you go and meet somebody who you have been giving value to that you have a problem, even if the person doesn't have financial means to help you, they will refer you.
Yeah, they will empathize with you.
And refer, wait. They might say, I don't have this cash. Okay, what is the thing? And that's why I said, don't ask before you go to meet somebody, you to do your individual analysis. This person are going to ask, what is the person doing? How can the person also have money? What else can the person give me? So you see, for instance, I can come to you and say, oh, guy, I don't have 200,000. And can you give me this your job or this your content? Let me help you and write and post.
Okay.
Then you can now pay me. Or do you have a job you can refer me to that will give me even if it's 50K? You see, it is now I have options. Okay, I no get money, but I know somebody that wants a cleaner. Can you clean for this? And don't be cry. You don't have money, you have pride. Why? I don't know. And you have
There are a lot of people that don't have money and have pride.
my family name.
But But I think I let that like grow out of that, because I wouldn't say that it wasn't me at some point. There was a time I was broke. I rather go to my father's house than ask anybody anything. Right? But it came very early. Poverty sat me down and told me one early Saturday morning, I will kill him. And I started writing. I literally started journaling, like with tears in my eyes. I said, this is what I'm going to be doing. And then I think what helped me was that the first people I asked empathized towards me. And, I didn't get people that's shopping. And I think that's the good thing about network, because I reached out to people within my network and, I got so much overwhelming support. And I was like,
And that's
I could have just asked that.
that's because another thing that would have explained to you that is either you usually don't ask, and people were surprised that you know, there's how you are that if you ask somebody, for this guy to ask,
To us, sibling, not I can help am.
do you understand? Yeah, so that's why I say, and that's because you built the relationship. So
Yes.
going forward, whoever is watching this podcast today, ask yourself, am I broke? Am I about to be broke? Or where am I currently?
Find out where you are in the broke
In the broke forum. And if you are okay, look at your expenses and ensure that you never fall back. Because there's something somebody used to say, Tobore. She said, you think you have money, right? You can never be broke. And some of us get to that point. Me, you get to the point in your life that because you have seen broke, you have investments, you have land, you have health, it takes one health sickness to send you back to being broke. So my last but not the least advice, forever remain humble. Because that money where you get, house be born, land government fit come collect am. You fit just sick, kidney, cancer, something, yes go. Or you can go into coma. Your next of kin cannot even access your. So remain humble. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Atat.
You are not welcome. You are not welcome.
Has to even unattended segment. I think we'll probably had in this segment, and I'd encourage you to like, subscribe, and comment. We would like to hear your story. Share with us in the comments, and I would always reply you. Thank you.